Hello everyone, my name is Dylan Withrow, and I'm going to be showing off the puzzle shooter. So what does the player do in puzzle shooter? Well, the player has combat actions similar to that of Uncharted, and they can move forward, backwards, jump, all basic locomotions, but they can also climb ladders and other objects. They can also enter into and out of turrets. They can also, so they can use those weapons to defeat their enemies and creatures and also solve the puzzles. They can also interact with the environment, similar to that of Breath of the Wild's shrines. So what is the hook? Well, Mind Game gives players the chance to have a shooter experience while also solving environmental puzzles, such as having to use a fire weapon to get through a set of leaves, or break down some wood, or use a grenade launcher to blow up a set of rocks and such. Each of the AI and the puzzles and the character will all have interactions that will all feed off of one another. What are the pertinent rules? What are the rules? Well, the game rules are pretty simple. The player succeeds when they reach the goal in the end of every level. The player fails when the character loses all their health. AI are defeated once they lose all their health. The player can carry only 2 weapons at a time. This creates a dynamic where the player can defeat AIs and they'll drop weapons, and then the player has to decide whether or not they're going to swap out one of their weapons or pick up another weapon to continue to be used for the puzzles that may require it to be used for that. The puzzles also have a reset button, one way or another, either by hitting an object or entering and exiting the room, and the player is scored by how many enemies they defeat and how quickly they got through the rooms. So what's the player's goal? Really simple. Reach the end of each room. What is the antagonistic forces? Well, you got the AIs, either both the monsters and the troopers, and you have the environmental puzzles, which are keeping the player continuing forward, or they might even be threatening the player. What decisions do the player make? The player might have many of these possible questions and others, such as what weapons should they use, should they actually defeat the AI ahead of them, or does the puzzle require them to head back, and etc. What is the theme? The theme is really simple. It's low poly, cartoon style with a light feel, and the player takes control of a freelance explorer that stumbled upon these ancient temples. Then an evil corporation wants to misuse in their world, and there are monsters inside the temples based off of not well-known monsters in our real world. What is the viewing perspective? Currently it is a third-person shooter with a free camera, and that is to give the player the chance to be able to zoom around and look around their character, and the free camera is pivoted onto the character. What games is this like? Like I said earlier, it's similar to Uncharted and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it's basically a fusion of the two, with Uncharted's combat system and Breath of the Wild's shrine puzzles, except the rooms will be a lot larger, they'll have multiple puzzles, and puzzles will require the puzzles to be made before that. What are the core differences? The main core differences is that Uncharted's puzzles only happen rarely, and they're technically based, and it's more of a historical puzzle, and it comes at the end of a level, and there's more combat. And the combat ends up progressing through areas. While Breath of the Wild has no shooter style whatsoever, but the shrines themselves become the environment, and the idea is to have multiple of these puzzles to create the environment. What play possibilities does this create? Well, it creates the player to be able to choose between either rushing ahead or sneaking through. It gives the player this feeling of choice and openability, not a real word, but I mean openness for the player to be able to go through. What are the risks in making this game? The main risks I believe that we're going to have are the AI and the puzzles, with the design difficulty and the creation and troubleshoot. I believe that if we use the assets and the vector assets and the simple assets by Cinti Studios, we'd have a much better starting point, but that's just my suggestion. Anyways, that's my video. I hope you guys liked it. Leave your comments below and let me know if anything felt out of right or anything like that. Thank you.